let's start talking about some Korean contenders. Let's do an intro and then let's run with it. Welcome to Overwatch and welcome to another episode of Probing the Many. Today we're looking at the Korean semi-finals, specifically this one matchup between Runaway and Element Mystic. Now then, a few admissions before we begin. I am sick, so if you hear any disturbance in my voice, that's why, because I'm not feeling super well, but we'll muscle on through. The second thing is this: I have not been following too much of the Korean contenders scene this season, so I am sort of all behind on the narratives, behind on the storylines. I know a little bit here and there, I know little tidbits of information here and there, but my perspective on the complete picture of Korean Overwatch is actually pretty limited at the moment. So I figure that, the finals are coming up in like a week's time. This seems like a really good time to jump on board and sort of get on board with some of it. So why not do that? The other admission is that, I don't know if there is one. I almost tried wearing my hat, but realized it's too hot. But yeah. Let's get going, right? Let's just get going into this. We've got a big old series coming ahead of us. You might have realized I probably titled this something like, Torbjorn destroys Korea. The reason why is in a couple of maps' time. For now, though, we're getting started on Oasis, and you might notice, Goats is still a very big thing. I believe this is played still on the patch without Hammond in it, without like the Sombra changes, without all that sort of stuff. No Symmetra seems to be involved, so it's currently on sort of Goats Prime patch, also Mono Support Comp Prime patch. But expect to see a lot of Goats throughout this. Goats seems to have entrenched its claws into Korea, and they seem quite happy running it quite a lot. So, yeah. It's kind of an interesting thing. Like, Goats as a comp is an odd one, just in case, because this kind of annoys me of everyone just saying Goats like everybody knows what Goats means. You probably should by now, but just in case you don't. Triple tank, triple support, right? Generally, Rhine, you can sometimes have Hog, you can sometimes have Zarya, like, you can mix up these two tanks a little bit, but D.Va, Zarya is fine. Same on the opposite side. Triple support, Brigitte, Lucio, Moira. Basically, it's a comp that is very good at actually running into an enemy team, so this is kind of an interesting thing to me, that Element Mystic choose to go through this low ground route and are trying to pick the pathway. I like that they don't go up that way, because it'll just put them through a very narrow choke point, but yeah, Goats is a comp that's actually really good at like smashing into a stationary target. So you can see that basically Runaway, like there's a little micro adjustment here that I kind of like, that they move around here, and you notice that the starting point for their defense isn't like, I think I'm still on 1.5 times speed because that's how I watch this in the preview. That's how I live my life. I watch it at 1.5 times speed. So yeah, you can see that they've already like done this little rotation, right? It's like, I've been playing a lot of Total War, a lot of Warhammer 2 Total War, and it's like a cavalry charge, right? You need to have like that big punchy engage. You can't just be like a stationary target. They can't be holding here and let the enemy team engage into them. No, they have to like run at each other to get maximum value, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So they smash into each other. Rah! Smash. And you have a big old fight. This is how a lot of Goats fights look. Kind of unusual to see a Reinhardt kill that early. Does he connect with the charge? It looks like just a stun connects and they just catch him out. This is very unusual to see this amount of... It looks like... Does the charge connect onto the Zarya? Looks like the charge actually connects with something. This is why this is a pain in the ass. Like, the charge, I think the charge here's primary purpose. Like, it's a risky move to take. It's interesting that it doesn't counter-charge, but it looks like it just, like, scatters everything and pulls all the attention away, because you notice that now, Pokpo, or I think they just call him Poco. I'm going to call him Pokpo because that's how it's written. He just ends up isolated, and they just capitalize on that straight away. Why is it called Goats and not Double Triple? Because the team that used to run it was Goats. All the time. I believe they were called Goats not because of the animal, but because of greatest of all time, but I'm not 100% on that. And it is the greatest of all time comp. But yeah, like, that kill on the Reinhardt is huge. The one thing I noticed when watching, I watched both of these series before doing this review, and the one thing I noticed is that Korean Reinhardts are very, very aggro, very aggressive with their position. They play a lot more with their Reinhardts than perhaps you would expect. So winning that Reinhardt battle is actually a very big deal, because you're going to see stuff like Bumper here just going crazy. And, like, it's unusual with Goats for Moira not to be the first one to get that ultimate charge, right? Moira's generally on top of that, but you're going to see Bumper zoom way up. Way up. I'm getting all that ult charge. Nice little thing happens here as well, just for the Lucio's benefit. Because that boop counted as his kill, he gets ult charge off that, which is always a nice little bonus. So, yeah, like, this is kind of an interesting thing that's going to happen here, which is the Element Mystic just aren't going to swap. Like, normally, when you fall behind on eco with Goats, it's normally a really bad thing, okay? Like, Goats thrives on sort of building up these very, very quick power spikes, and you get these very, very powerful plays coming in. But you can see that Element Mystic, the behind, it doesn't really determine, but, again, Bumper just gets set up for that. They might have even... Like, this is just good cooldown management, I think, by Runaway. So, Runaway know that they have this Earth Shadow coming on. They know that they have to play around Guard's Projected Barrier. This is why Projected Barrier is such an important deal. Projected Barrier goes out early. Okay, they wait it out, and then it looks like he just goes for it, but I imagine this is linked up with yeah, I always want to say Haskell, but it's Haxal. Haxal's stun, although, can we see Haxel? Where is he? Where are you? I want to see if he just dropped it, or if you, like, synergized it. There he is, yeah, so that's just a stun combo. And that's just an easy win. Like, that's a second easy win. Haskell, yeah. It's just, it's weird to see it, like, it's, again, Koreans. I do generally like Korean, like, I love names like this, like the mono sort of name, like, you know, Bumper, Stitch, Slime, Twilight, like, those are really good names. Repel, like, even that's cool. Repel, Guard, like, those are cool names. Sometimes they just get... This is probably horrifically racist stuff, but sometimes it's just a little bit strange. And again, they're sticking to it, and it's like you're playing in a deficit, but sticking to this team comp that, when you fall to a deficit, often goes bad. Huge ult getting whiffed there. The big thing that you'll notice is that he actually goes for it after the stun lands, but he's a little bit too slow on it, so Haxal just puts the stun onto D.Va, Stitch tries to throw the Graviton Surge, and instantly Deiko reacts and just puts the defense matrix back up. Grav gets caught. That's a really big deal, because, of course, that is, like... While Goat struggles still to sometimes kill things through a number of ultimates, it's going to be tough. And, like, Runaway have already committed very heavily to this fight. They've already burned through 3 support ultimates. Enemy team is doing the same, but the enemy team has, of course, that Graviton Surge that doesn't get eaten up. Big old kill. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, it feels like. Just a small whiff, a split seconds missed timing, and, oh. It's a good job from Deiko to just be in that position and catch it as well. And so now it's like, okay, well now you have the inverse situation, right? They're still running in with that deficit. Shadow whiffs. Feels bad, man. Again, was this a combo? See, this is sloppy to me. Like, this looks sloppy. This looks like a mistake. Like, he has the projected barrier. Hey, Azretha.
Runaway waiting.
I mean, this is a big deal as well. Like, let me establish some stakes for you guys, just in case you're only like, why should we care about Korean contenders? Korea produces the best Overwatch players, right? They have the most players in the Overwatch League. They have the best players in the Overwatch League. You ask anyone to name, like, the all-star lineups, pretty much all of them are going to be 6 Korean players. These teams are playing now for, this is the semi-finals, so the winner of this goes to the finals. Runaway, like, last year, people were asking, like, why aren't Runaway in Overwatch League? Like, this was a big thing, and it seems to be happening again. Runaway just doing really, really well. The team that wins Korean contenders is probably extremely likely to have their players picked up and go into Overwatch League in some form. Mistakes like this, though, look kind of bad, where it's just like, he had his own barrier up and the Zarya bubble. You can't do that. You can't do that sort of thing. Sloppy. So, re-engage, you can see Stitch is doing a really good job, and again, like, this thing with the Korean Reinhardts, especially, like, how they're playing this, they're so much more aggressive than you would expect, and, like, you can do this with Goats Comp, you can play the more aggressive Reinhardt, because your team is so durable and tanky, especially when they're in, like, a tight group like this one, that he just sees the opportunity and he just, like, goes for it. Like, this is good observational skills. You notice that Lucio and the Brigitte are, like, trapped in this corner. Lucio could maybe, like, bounce up the wall and get out, but the Brigitte, she's kind of stuck, right? She's taking damage, you're going to be splattered against the wall no matter what, and almost gets booped out of it, but hey, it still works out. Ult's getting committed. Another Graviton Surge. Both Graviton Surges. This is Chinese Overwatch tier Graviton Surging now, as everyone just is Graviton Surging, because why not? There's too much healing, so no one's going to die. Lel, Goats, but everyone's getting low. Shadow's beautiful, and this should be a simple finish up. And so this series starts slow, is what I will say. This series starts, watching goats versus goats mash against each other is kind of There are still like very fine lines. There are still mistakes that can be made and stuff like that, like the graviton surges, the earth shatters. But goats on goats is not the most exciting thing in the world, right? Hey Josh, I have a question. Will the Mercy nerf change anything? Maybe. The Lucio buff will probably change more, to be honest. Like, it does give Lucio a really nice bump. It might give him some tools to be picked more. He still has a place he's creeping in again here and there, but we will see. Mercy's still extremely good, I think. It's a beauty of a shadow. Just goes for it. No fear. You're going to see this later on in the series, but, this Reinhardt thing is something that I'm going to keep harping on about, because you're going to see these Reinhardts play very aggressively and very, very, high intensity. They'll do it even more with Ana later, and it's a really cool playstyle, that they start using the Ana to basically make the Reinhardt's aggression pay off a lot more. It's a really cool little thing of Korean Overwatch. Well, as a buff, Lucio's sound barrier is going to do 750 now instead of what it does, which is nice. Prefer to watch Ghosts and Dive Clashes? Really? That's really interesting to me. Okay, so, win conditions, right? I mean, Runaway know that they can just sort of... They still have a good 50%. They still have 2 engagements. They have Graviton Surge. The enemy team, slower than they are at the moment. They've used their Earth Shatter as well. You have Earth Shatter. Enemy team doesn't. If they can get the Zarya bubble out, they can actually be in a really strong winning position. Stitch is also just going to be set up as well. As long as he doesn't get this one eaten again, then hey, it's going to go good. But this is also the power of goats, where they put 2 support ultimates in there. Oh look, nobody's dying. Shadow just to continue the kills going. Nobody's dying. Counter grab. Deaths, please. There we go. This is why I don't like goats. It's just like... It's just so messy. It's so brawly. It's so difficult to turn things into kills in a meaningful way. Like, I'm trying to see if there's, a way for them to secure a couple more of these kills earlier in this fight. Because the big deal here is that Lucio gets Sound Barrier off and Coalescence is just being pumped into it. So they need some burst damage to come out from somewhere. Maybe this is a touch early. Maybe they needed to wait for Janu's Diva Bomb to come up. Because it does come up now, but it's sort of too late and they just get out of it. And then even, this doesn't connect properly. Does kind of get one on the Diva mech. Just the Brigitte Corpse getting launched there. It's just so messy, though. Like, the Zarya is the only thing that does real damage here. And so, this is a big deal where they just push out Stitch. Coalescence, I do like this, where they just, Pogba just drops the Shadow just to make sure that Moira can't do anything. It's just like, done. You are not getting that ultimate. You are not getting that value. Reinforcements now coming in. Respawns. Respawn advantage seems to be on Runaway side at the moment as well, as they take ground. It looks like they're going to win off the back of that, and they're just pushing them off the point. Counter engage. Any good win condition here for Element Mystic? As far as I can tell, no. They just got to sort of find an opening, maybe try and blow up the Reinhardt where possible. They need to make sure that Guard stays alive for a little bit longer. Maybe we can get something on the Earth Shatter here. That would be a big thing, I think. Hey, oh god, that's one hell of a name. Uninoon Nitu. Oh Jesus, I'm already sick. Or is it Unin Unitu? I'm sorry. Your name is very difficult to say with a cold. Thank you for the sub. Welcome to the many, however. Okay. So yeah, there's the graph. So they did a good job there. Beautiful counter shadow by Bumper. This guy is playing phenomenally. There's the counter grab as well. Goats. Not enough DPS. Beautiful boop, actually. Must have right now get dunked. And pop. Bye, Ryan. Bye, Ryan. See ya. You can see how important it is to keep these areas up. Like, Guard is still doing work. He's on 60% of another Graviton Surge. Started the fight with one because the targets are so meaty. Because the targets are so meaty, you can build it up nice and quickly as long as overtime continues. So when overtime's been going a while, you can't. Look, this is on a quarter speed. And you can just see, like, the moment of panic. Oh no! Oh god, yeah. Let's take a look at Twitch chat. Where are you, Twitch chat? C9, 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 C9. Beautiful. Beautiful. Ugh, disgusting. It's never what you want to see at the end of a series, but goats. Goats on goats. It's messy. Keep your Zarya's alive. Reinhardt shadows are a big deal. What more is there to be said? This one is a lot more interesting. Okay? Because, okay, Runaway are going to continue running goats. But the casters point something out, and this is where the casters are a huge benefit, because they mention something in this series, which is the Element Mystic. Apparently they don't have a Pharah player. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. And I think that maybe they're anticipating the enemy will run like a Pharah comp, like a Pharah Widow or something like that, or a Pharah Tracer, because this team comp to me is not what you play into goats, right? You cannot play McCree into goats. It just doesn't work well. They can, like, it's going to sound weird, but goats is more mobile than McCree, right? They have a Lucio. They can get to you way quicker. And so what's going to happen is, well, the Lucio, what's he going to do? He's going to flashbang them, and then what? Basically, like, what do you do after that? You get run over, basically, by a fucking truck. So this feels like a bit of a mismatch from the word go. So they scatter out. Okay, they have goats. They take the high ground, which I think is perfectly logical. Runaway stuck on the low ground. Can't really get to the high ground super easily without having to run around. So we have like this sort of rotation jamboree where you see everyone sort of chasing each other around. It's like a freaking Scooby-Doo cartoon. You know, when they're all going through the doors, coming out different doors. It's like, oh, well, you're on the low ground. We'll run up here, and then we'll run down and run away this way. So they run up here and run away, like lending their name to Element Mystic. They run away down below. Nice little burst kill on Janu. Again, like this Tracer, this is sort of the problem, like right here is why Tracer struggles a lot, is because sure you can get a lot of burst damage done, but the moment that healing gets on there, it gets so much more difficult for the Tracer. Still doing alright though, they've sort of outmaneuvered it, but it's like they've got 2 kills, and then, what? You know, this is why goats is a pain in the ass. You need to have like this high burst damage, this short time to kill, high burst damage heroes to eliminate a goat's comp from the point. Because during all this time, like all this rotation doesn't matter because there's still 10 seconds on the clock, right? So sure, they lose 1. They still technically only lose 1. Kind of a big deal. But during all this time, okay, Twilight's building up to his ultimate. Element Mystic are doing a good job building up to theirs, though. Haxel's almost got his. Big deal. Twilight, there. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for this Moira to build up nice and quickly. And it's like, they have to back away because they don't have enough damage to actually finish anything off. Because the McCree can't get in. The McCree can't get near them. The Tracer can't do any meaningful damage here. The Winston's tickling them. And unless they isolate someone in a big way, it's going to be so hard to kill people. So hard to kill people. Beautiful fire strike. Holy shit. Let's have a little look at that one. Quite rightfully, the caster's going nuts. If I do... No, it's this button, isn't it? Or slow speed. Or is that YouTube only? Oh, that's just affecting the sound. What the? That's sound. Pretty sure this worked. Ah, I guess that's just YouTube. Feels bad, man. I want to look at this fire strike. Look at... Whoa. You can just see the maths in front of him. Simple geometry. Sexy. This guy needs to be in Overwatch League. Holy shit. He says after watching like half a round.
I mean, it was like he predicted it so well, and it was such a distance of the prediction.
But this is a big deal, okay? What's happening now is a big deal because goats, like I mentioned this before, the sort of the power spikes of goats. Right, you have one on that first engagement, like when you first crash into the enemy, you have this big power spike when all the tanks use their cooldowns, and you can generally get a couple of early kills. Second power spike comes in when Moira has her ultimate. There's actually technically a third power spike as well when the Zarya comes online. They have the Moira ult, and they also have the Brigitte ult. What this means is that the next fight's going to go so long, they're going to have the Lucio ult. They're probably going to have the Zarya ult. Like, the next fight is going to be forced into this huge thing that's going to take super long. So, keep that in mind, right? And so to deal with this, Element Mystic, they pick Junkrat. Now, you might wonder, okay, well, Junkrat is a counter to goats, right? Junkrat's actually pretty good against goats. But the issue with Junkrat compared to Pharah is that Pharah is very good on maps where you have a lot of space where you can sort of go over the top of rooftops and stuff and come down very close on the enemy. Junkrat works very well when you can sort of spam in directly at the enemy and just sort of stay out of line of sight. Junkrat doesn't work super well though when you're attacking through and into a lot of small choke points, because the Riptire is forced to go through those choke points. And you're going to see an example of this later on where the Junkrat is basically, he builds up the Riptire, like he's done a good job of getting close to it, but of course this is going to be charging these support ultimates like crazy. So he's going to be throwing this Riptire in, and it's like, where can you send the Riptire that won't just get caught out instantly? Where can you send that Riptire that's not going to get picked off? Sitch's going to be setting up for a flank. I like this. You're going to see even more changes come out. Like, again, just this is bold as hell. This has to be just called out from the team, I imagine. That the D, like, you know, someone from the team has to confirm that D.Va is not looking the right direction, because that's the defense matrix.
Welcome to Overwatch, mon chéri.
Hey!
My sub can almost drink in the US Pope Champ.
Amazing. Thank you, Sea Surfer. Hope all is good with you, and send me the cure for the common cold, please, because I'm dying. Ugh. Like, it's a bold grab, but you can see that the D.Va's looking the opposite direction, just slips it in behind, couple of quick kills. And they know that they have support ults coming on for the next fight, they have Ursula coming on for the next fight. This is just very, very textbook, very simple ult rotations, pretty straightforward, right? And it's like, they need this Riptire to be huge, but this isn't a map where Riptire is easy. You know, this isn't a map where Riptire is going to be a simple thing to get through, because you think about where can he send this Riptire? Well, you can go through this doorway, but they're spamming through it. They can go through this doorway, but it's so narrow that they can see it coming. You can go through this doorway, they can see it coming. You can try and come through like here, but it's super narrow, and you're going to get shot as you do it. And so they just spot it out a little bit, and it's like the Moira is the one killing it, you know? The distance that it has to cover is so huge that Moira does like half the damage to it. D.Va just finishes it off, like just dives at it and kills it. And like that's the only saving grace they have now. It's 99%. Big team fighting the point. Runaway have 3 support ultimates. Haxel means massacre in Korean. Oh, that's a really good name then. I take back everything I say. The cast is going nuts. I love it. I want to hear this in slow motion. I mean, in my mind, the fight's kind of already over. Like, as exciting... don't get me wrong, as a caster, you should absolutely get super hype at, like, triple kills and stuff like this. It's the Earth Shadow combo as well. So the Earth Shadow's landed. Trance is going up, but it's not going to be enough, and... Oh god, I love it so much. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. Beautiful. Okay. So that one felt like just a mismatch, right? The goats on goats, sloppy fights. Feels like Runaway did a better job of managing their resources overall. Like managing their ultimates and doing things with their ultimates in a very clever way. Now then. So, this is where my inexperience on the Korean meta comes to the fore, because apparently Koreans sometimes do this where they'll run a Torbjorn, but it will not be like this is the person playing Zarya last round playing this, right? He's sort of playing off the DPS role, so they have Pharah, Torbjorn. Normally it's one of the supports that runs this Torbjorn role, and they run like a Widow Pharah with it or something like that, so you can get these crossfires going, and you can sort of set that up. Instead, he's running it in a DPS slot. Okay, so Torbjorn on Numbani is not like old school. It's not like, you know, super old school. It's not like, sorry, never seen before, unheard of. Because of the way that this is laid out, the map and the control point is laid out, Torbjorn can actually be kind of useful. The team, like the enemy team, has to try and dive into here, for example. Torbjorn's very good at dealing with that. You have like this long crossfire being set up by the turret here. You can see everything. You can get good molten cores going on this high ground up here. Like a lot favors the Torbjorn on this map. He's been played actually in the past quite a lot, but he sort of fell out of favor as the more high mobility comp sort of came to the fore.
Maybe a Sombra check. This is a bit weird.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Sombra check just to identify whether or not they should run ghosts. Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're going to take a quick look. They're running the Sombra at first. The Sombra comps, I generally see used more as like a counter to to like a Risa Hog Diva if you're running something like that, or just like the Diva and like Diva Winston as well is pretty good against, because what happens is the Diva comes down to try and contest the point, the Sombra just hacks the Diva, and you lose that rotation on and off the point, so the enemy has to come down and fight you on the point basically. So Sombra comps are pretty neat. They're very high execution though. But yeah, they start spotting out stuff, and like one of the big things here is that at 3:45 they know what the enemy team's running. They can press tab and they can see, okay, they have the Torbjorn, they have the Pharah, we know what we're going up against. So this is the comp they want to run against it. But what I really want to highlight during this is the way that Runaway play these fights, I think, is super clever. Because what you'll notice is the fights go for so long. And the thing with Torbjorn is this. Torbjorn does not deal a huge amount of damage, or rather the turret doesn't deal a huge amount of damage. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, it is 60 DPS. Okay? It's 60 DPS. Like the baby turret's like 30 and the mega is 60 DPS. The thing with Torbjorn's turret, of course, is that it's 100% accurate. So it will just continually hit and 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 hit. You cannot get away from this damage. So what this means is that if the fight goes long, that's really going to start adding up, because humans miss, the turret doesn't. 56 DPS apparently. Well, it's close enough. Let's round up. It's just going to continue ramping up. One thing that's kind of interesting here, is this a Diva intercept? Sometimes you'll see Divas like come up and catch this Winston. It looks like it's just a rocket that bounced him off, so he doesn't actually land up there, but instantly he's in trouble, focus down, burn down, killed. One thing you'll see Stitch do a lot here as well is that he will not leave this high ground until absolutely necessary. He'll generally just stay up there. I think he has dropped down in this case to maybe finish the Winston off, but he'll generally be playing from that high ground almost all the time. So yeah, once that Winston goes down, they're in a bad position. And this is the thing with Torbjorn as well, is that once Torbjorn starts cycling Molten Core, he builds it pretty quickly, and it's a pretty good ultimate. This is also, I think, a nice little thing, which is that they are using this Torbjorn to also pressure out the Tracer. Because one of the things with Tracer on Numbani, one of the sort of the weaknesses of running Tracer on Numbani, is that Tracer needs to set up on Numbani. You can't just get her to the high ground easily. You need to allow for time to get the Tracer around the back, to get her sort of through the corridor we call blue, to get set up there to attack things on the high ground. You can't just sort of send her in the same way you'd send a Genji in. You have to give her time to get to position. So they're using the Torbjorn to almost screen her out, while still playing from this very defensive position. You can see that she's scared. Like, she has to kind of be scared. She isn't really doing much here, and this, as a result, like, the rest of the team's just diving in, playing super aggro, and just finding kills. It's nothing overly fancy here, and it does feel like that felt like a moment where Element Mystic could have got something done, but they just didn't. So yeah, the cast is talking about now, like, the fact that Torbjorn is not unseen, but it's generally the support that plays that role. The nice thing about the double support here is that, it means these fights can go for a very long time, which sort of leverages the advantage of the Torbjorn. So this time they start out the fight, they just kill the turret, Torbjorn just rebuilds it. This is like a nice long sight line as well, so they know the enemy's coming in from this way. Torb turret can get to work, he's going to spam them down, bomb goes off, doesn't get anything, crucially. Seems like a big mistake, and getting the turret at the start of the fight here would be a big deal, but the turret, nothing dies to that bomb. That again seems like a bit of a missed opportunity. Jianu playing this very agile style of Diva, just like constantly pressuring out, almost like the Winston-esque Diva style. There you can see, like, here's the ultimates coming off now, so they're going to start using a lot of these resources. Molten Core comes out, Barrage comes out, gets counteracted by the Transcendences, and they're just going to wait it out, use the trance to get a res, scoop Bumper up. And you notice that the Torbjorn hasn't left the high ground, and I think the reason why he hasn't left the high ground is pretty simple. Is that if this turret dies, you could just rebuild another one here, you can rebuild another one here. Sure, the Torbjorn's more DPS on the ground, but as long as they can continue contesting this point, as long as Bumper, Jianu are still alive, they can keep this contest going for a long time, then this Torbjorn's still going to be very effective. Right? It's almost like investing resources into making sure that this fight does go long. Okay, now they're on the back foot, now I can drop down, now we can start leveraging the bongo and start playing aggressive once again. So that's when they're going to start doing that. You can see how slow the fight is almost. Like, it's not like you traditionally see where, you know, you're running a Pharah or something and you just instantly blow up half their team. It's just like a very slow grind. Let's let them burn through their ultimates and then we'll just win out through attrition because the Torbjorn lets us do that. Torb makes Tracer call him daddy. Yeah, Torb also, like, the Lindholm family really does not like Tracer. I guess it makes sense. I think Torbjorn probably built Tracer's weapons. And so now they swap it up and they go to this sort of this Reinhardt comp. And this to me like has more life in it, because one of the best ways to beat a Torbjorn is you just play Reinhardt or Orisa, because Torbjorn, unless he's up close and personal, has really bad shield break, and if Torbjorn's up close and personal, you just fucking kill him. So the turret's really not going to have a high impact here. So what they're going to do is just play sort of towards the back of the point, play it nice and slow. Again, they're just going to use the Orisa, so they only defend this corner. Torb's still playing from the higher ground, just going to try and spam them out here. This is where, like, Haxal needs to sort of get up and over here or something, or just get into position so he can barrage down here. I mean, it feels like they do a good job of just pushing Element Mystic back. And, like, honestly, this feels almost too defensive for me. This is a big shame as well, because now Haxal can just stay here, again, setting up the barrage. Barrage on choke point, simple as you like. Standard issue modified by Winston. Ooh, okay. Clearly stepping on Torbjorn's toes, because he's meant to be the weapons engineer. And now you can see, like, Element Mystic swapping this up again. It's like, okay, well, now we're bringing out the McCree. It's like, okay.
I mean, right now, I think there's, like, this is going to be a push to remember.
And, like, this is tough, right? Because this push, like, you want to go into this push like a Diva ult or something. You need to, like, you know, if the Orisa drops down here and puts a barrier up, then you just fucking lob the Diva bomb at where the turret is. Something like that, you know, something to give you a good engage advantage. But Element Mystic have been doing, it feels like they've been doing so little damage and so low impact that they're having a really tough time. This is what I mean by Torbjorn just playing from that high ground. Again, you can see he's just waiting it out, just spamming away from up here. And he knows that as long as the tanks are on the point contesting, he can just stay up here, almost bait the Diva into fighting up here. And then if the turret goes down, then yeah, sure. But once the fight starts winning, now he drops down, helps with cleanup. And it's a really clean way of playing. And he seems to just get away with murder. It feels like there's just no good response to this from Element Mystic. Like, they sort of run dive into this repeatedly, go, huh, that isn't working. Try running a Widow into this, which also stops working pretty quickly. And now we're going to see an interesting little thing. Also, this is a very, very cute little thing. I like this. I like that sign. That's a cute one.
That's not a variation of it after dying. Things of that nature earlier. That doesn't exist here. You can't have a plan.
Didn't BioWare do 2 Star Wars games? Technically, BioWare did 1. Oh, no, they did Knights of the Old Republic, technically, as well, I suppose. Well, sorry, not Knights. They did Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic, the MMO. KOTOR 2 was Obsidian. And was very good for it. So, you're going to see Element Mystic do what's apparently the more standard way of doing this, right? Except that instead of the Pharah, they're going to be running the Junkrat. But they're going to have the Zenyatta instead playing the Torbjorn. And you're going to see, well, Runaway just run this very, very high-intensity dive comp into it. And, well, let's see how it goes. And this is where I think the big difference lies, which is basically one team ran Genji and one team didn't. One team ran Tracer. And I think, honestly, like, if you run the Genji into this, it works so much better. Like, you need that mobility. You need that little extra edge. So there we go. Slime fires a quick shot and then swaps to the Lucio. Very aggro, very high intensity dive comp, right? Like Lucio Mora says that we want to fight, we want to just brawl and kill things really quickly. A couple of big differences just in this first dive straight away. First things first, the Winston actually lands. It's weird. Normally you see stuff like divas come up and like try and bounce that Winston out. Like it's like a diva will bounce almost like volleyball bat the Winston away, or the Junkrat needs to bounce the Winston away. But instead he just lands. It's actually a bigger deal than you would expect, because that does give him, like, look at his ult charge. Builds quite quickly, might get some extra damage. It's a good way of setting up a nice early kill. You can see the damage instantly locks onto this mono support. Because they drop down so early, Stitch doesn't actually need to wait or do any fancy setup. He just goes straight in because the Mercy literally just drops down straight away. Trap doesn't actually get anyone. A lot of big kills very quickly. Once that Mercy's dead, everything's falling apart. You've just got a Torbjorn now against a Genji who's fighting you close range. GG. Do you think Contenders NA and EU will ever become land-based in regular season? No. I think the reason why is because it's just prohibitive to teams getting into Contenders. Like, the ability to... Contenders already has so much of a shoestring budget that it's like, to get LAN working, you need to bring players and teams and all the infrastructure to a singular location and then play it from there. And the reason, yeah, so like Contenders has no money in it at the moment. So no one's gonna invest into making it LAN, unfortunately. Okay. Next game. I'm actually going through this really quickly. A lot quicker than I was expecting. Horizon Lunar Colony. This is the old version of Horizon as well.
Probing the mini-pog.
Damn straight. I mean, we got like a whole pile of contenders coming up. Like, it's worth looking into contenders because, again, these players are probably like the teams making expansion teams are probably rubbing their hands, going, "Oh, we want that guy, we want that guy," and even the Overwatch League teams going, "Yeah, we want that guy, that guy, that guy." Like, these are the players that you want to be looking at and thinking about going into Season 2 Overwatch League, Korean contenders especially. But North America, Europe, they're all finishing up soon, so we're gonna have some probing material at least for a little while, which is nice. Okay. So relatively, of course, standard defense coming out here. Like for old school Horizon, you have the Hanzo, the Junkrat, so he's just going to be spamming out with a lot of damage, playing high ground more than anything. Meanwhile, oh look, it's our old friend. It's our old friend. Let's cuddle up to them. It's a goat. I need a. I'm so glad that this is actually a movie. You know, that like this is sort of the current seasons in a nutshell. It's just watching, especially like EU Overwatch. It's just the men who stare at goats. Thank you, Drizbla. Thank you so much for the 100 bits though. Right. So, just moving through. The objective here is for Haxel to like very, very passive. Very, very passive, actually, out of Haxel. Sometimes you'll see when the enemy team's running goats, and if you're running a Junkrat, you'll actually see the Junkrat do stuff like dive pretty much into the enemy team here. Like, they will go super aggro, like bounce into the enemy team, try and get some splash damage in, stuff like that. Very, very aggressively trying to build that Riptide, because it's the Riptide that you need, the Riptide that you really want. I think he's going to do it here, while the enemy team sort of tries to regroup a little bit. Actually, no, playing very passively. Very, very passive positioning coming out of him. The more aggro style. Nice little bomb. Still, like, he's behind where he needs to be, if you ask me. He needs to be higher than this. Because this, like, Goats thrives here, right? It's like fighting to a narrow choke point. You can see how quickly Repel's building this ultimate. This needs to, like, these two need to be matching pretty close. There we go. Now he's got it going. Now this ult's coming out. From a bit of a duff angle, if you ask me as well. Oh, very nice out of Element Mystic, actually. Notice how well they reposition this, and this is sort of why I think this is a bit of a duff angle. Like, if he like managed to bounce up here or something to get that out, it might be a little bit different. But Element Mystic do a really good job. Once that Riptire comes out, they all scatter, they all pull back. Because the big thing with Riptire, of course, is it can kill any tank in one shot. So you can lose a lot very quickly. And during all of this, the Coalescence is actually shredding Runaway like crazy. So they're actually running out of steam here. Like, the healing output is just not enough. And this is really bad for Element Mystic, okay? So, a couple of things went really, really wrong here. That's going to make the second point really difficult. So let's look at these. So the first thing that goes really, really wrong is you don't want to be finishing the fight at like this. Okay, that's too thick to see anything. At like this amount of cap, okay? You don't want to be finishing the fight there, because what's going to happen is, well, you're done contesting, fight ends, thing flips up, and then they instantly just leave. And you're going to see that pretty much straight away. The Element Mystic just straight away dash off the point. Alright? The second thing is that they lost this crucial piece of the puzzle. Well, Element Mystic, you know, we talk about those power spikes with Goats, and it's like they use one of them, but this one comes back pretty quickly. They use a second, which is the Moira ult, but they're probably going to have, like, especially the Brigitte ult coming online next fight. That's going to feed nicely into the Lucio ult, which could probably even feed into another Moira ult. So they're probably going to have all three support ults again next fight. Sure, they're going to be playing into the two support ults from Runaway here, but that might not actually be enough, because the Element Mystic have so much time with their support ultimate, with all three of their support ults. It's going to be very difficult.
despite Huxell's best efforts, you know, Elo Mystic just
And so there we go. You can see that sort of rotation coming through.
tires a little bit late. Huxell dies using it, as you pointed out.
We'd like to see Runaway as a whole making it into Overwatch League. I mean, with expansion teams, it's likely. Like, especially if they win, then it's quite likely someone's going to do a Cloud9 and just buy them.
Here's the rally to start it off.
So there's the rally.
Does not
Just move straight into the point. Again, nothing's really able to contest them. They're starting to cap it up. There's the Valkyrie. Like to just try and match this. Diva Bomb comes out of...
Riptire. He wishes he didn't
I'm not crazy. I did see a Diva Bomb there. No, that's just a Diva rocketing around. No Diva Bombs. I am crazy.
Over the side, Dragon Strike rolls in.
Dragon Strike, but there's 3 support ultimates and no finisher, no grav, nothing to really put the oomph on that. See how these support ultimates are lasting so long that, okay, now other power spikes are coming along. That third power spike with the grav coming in. Early Transcendence Force just to keep this fight sort of on the roll. Transcendence comes out of Twilight just to keep it alive a little bit longer.
They lock up everybody on the side of Runaway.
And they just grab everyone after that. Trance comes out, throw the grab, and
Go ahead.
done.
The rest of them might as well, 'cause now it's Cinch and John who buy themselves.
Oh, Mystic now have 6 tanks, basically. Yeah, the Brigitte effect.
First tick comes through Runaway. How do they turn this around? Twilight. He
Sombra
swaps over to
delay.
Sombra.
As long as they get new uniforms. I mean, they're getting new shirts. Like, everyone seems to be getting new shirts. I think they're changing the look of the Overwatch League. That's a rumbling I heard, that they don't want to have, like, these sports jersey style stuff.
Junkrat, they've run so well this season, and again, if Huxell wants to run
I do like Runaway's, like, baby pink color, though. I think that's actually really good, like, a cool touch.
with a double
Actually, are their uniforms, like, very yeah, like, this is very reminiscent of the Overwatch League. They clearly sort of styled themselves after it.
point from him. The corner
Yeah, like, the sort of the build-up and the steamroll there was sort of the big thing. And so, like, little things like forcing that Transcendence out a touch earlier than perhaps they wanted it. The Zarya comes online. It's all kind of timed out badly for Runaway.
Runaway will be trying to replicate Goats. Comp all locked up for them.
Nut, goats.
Go
Meh.
further forward.
Again,
Just try to get some early scouting.
the men who stare at goats.
out the gates.
Ugh.
Goats, as you say. XC on the Widow.
Variation coming out here. We've got a Roadhog. We've got a Widowmaker instead of a Hanzo as well.
With the flex onto the Roadhog, that's not normal. It's been used.
Very interesting little variation as well. Like, this sort of stuff I like more, right? This to me is like, this is how you feed your Junkrat, okay? You do stuff like this, where you put your Diva down, she's just going to try and rocket through the team.
Been used before, but it's not the standard.
Like, she gets stunned, she gets sort of bounced around, and hopefully Dako will just rocket away, stall things up, and maybe give time for, yeah, a couple more grenades to land from guard. And actually gives time for a hook to land by looks of things. So now the Reinhardt's out of position, that's a big kill. Hey. Very small little thing, right? Very small little tweak, but it works out. Now, well, guard's on 52%, and your push is now really scrambled. Like, they've got to be cognizant of the fact that they can just start, like, advancing to the point, but then without their Reinhardt, they can't actually do anything. So I imagine Element Mystic are going to mostly just turn around in a second and try and kill this Rein.
If you run away, you press reset already.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, this isn't the run we wanted. So already it's great for Element Mystic, like you said.
Well, now Runaway
Doing a good job catching. Beautiful hooks. 61%, Twilight's on 56. Stitch is very, very slowly building as well. Hasn't really had a chance to shoot anything. They're actually contesting it properly this time as well, which is nice to see. It means that they're not going to end up in the same situation that happened previous round. There's the Riptire. Should be a quick kill. Probably on the Diva. Nope, actually goes greedy. That's very greedy. Oh, don't like this. I don't like this. Oh no. Oh, that's dirty. Right. Why don't I like this? So you can see the Lucio going this way, which is already kind of a warning sign. The Diva spots you out and does like half damage. It's like removing a Diva is kind of a big deal regardless, especially when you're playing Junkrat. But seeing the Lucio going around, it's like, okay, well, there's a time limit on this as well, because now, yeah, the Lucio just kills him, basically. The greed. The greed is real. Feels bad, man. Like, slowing down the Zarya is a big deal, but... sorry. Just to be gross and sniffle on camera. This is danger, because this is giving Stitch time to build up that ultimate, and you only have one support, so this Graviton Surge could be fight-winning. It could just be game-ending. But then Element Mystic make a change-up that I fucking love. Okay, you want a good way to beat goats? Well, what does a huge amount of damage that you can't really out-heal no matter how many healers you throw at it? This bad boy. This bad boy right here. And because this is old
So basically what Element
Horizon,
was saying with this
they can abuse some positioning facts. So they started out with him on high ground. Okay, run away, push out through high ground. Makes sense. And he just runs back to the spawn door. Oh, you can't actually deal with him there. Because this spawn door exists, because this spawn door is right here, they can't actually deal with this Bastion. They can't just like run at him. They don't have a Roadhog to fish him out. He can just stay in here and he's fine. And so as long as Element Mystic drag this fight out, this Bastion's damage is just going to ramp up and up and up and up. And as long as the Bastion doesn't die and doesn't get killed off, well, that's a big problem. Stitch getting killed is a huge deal because, of course, that's the grab gone as well. That's one of the victory conditions sort of nullified. And now with the Riptire getting nothing as well. Like, it still doesn't matter because the Bastion's alive and uncontested in the back line. You cannot fight this. You cannot hold against this. It's too open. You can't close in on him. You don't have a Roadhog. You don't have anything to get to him. He's just going to hide and spawn. This fight has been over for ages, and yet it's still going. Like, Runaway, I think, needed to just drop this one after a while. Because this guy is just... You know, I want to see his, like, his DPS, his damage done, because he's probably already got gold.
Here as well. He actually nearly goes over and gets the kill there. Just long range.
And now all I imagine that Element Mystic are doing is they're holding the tab button and seeing, oh, well, are they changing? Are they changing anything up? And the answer is no.
It's actually
This is a nice attempt by Runaway. The idea is just you sneak your Zarya and you fire a grab at like the floor underneath them, pin them in, and perhaps you can like do something like lob a Diva Bomb, or you just lob the Reinhardt in there and hope for the best. Try and get something off the back of that, but because, oh look, Dako's positioning is good enough, they spot the Zarya. Goes for an early grab, only really gets one, and again, see, is this XZI? Like, I don't think the caster say his name much. Is it XZI or just Z? I'm gonna call him Z. Z just drops back, just moves away. Again, same problem as before. This Bastion is still alive, still causing problems. Now got on tank form, you got to sort of defend against that. Spicy over the top. Good defending by Bumper. Again, this Reinhardt player is huge. Valkyrie keeping people alive on point. Remember 2CP, general logic of 2CP, this is very much worth mentioning now, is 2CP, you got to win clean, right? Win clean. You need to generally win a team fight in a single go. Like, you need to kill as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. If you don't, defend spawn advantage is going to be a really big deal. Goats does not kill things quickly without a Graviton Surge and a Diva Bomb. So you end up with this problem where, well, they're just using a Mercy's Valkyrie, and they're just going to keep themselves alive. So, still contesting. And you're going to see, well, they can't finish anything off, and so slowly but surely, well, now Arisa's back, now Roadhog's back, and sure, they're killing people sort of one by one, but it's not outpacing the respawns, and there's trading while this is happening. Okay, they got another one. Oh look, Bastion's back. And they can't deal with it again. And you end up with this team fight that looked really good for Runaway, but again, the weakness of Goats is that you don't kill things quickly enough to have a decisive finish, especially if the enemy team can rotate things that are tanky onto the point, like Arisa's, like a Valkyrie Mercy that is going to keep people alive. You don't kill things fast enough, and as a result, the point gets staggered out so much that Runaway just cannot win on the back of this. So it's like, you need that victory condition. Mr. Numbani, feels bad, man. Very good controlling of space and dragging fights out, similar to what's happening here to Runaway, incidentally, where fights are just being drawn out and drawn out and drawn out, and this is only playing into Element Mystic's advantage. Oh, Bumper, I've been singing your praises all this time, and then he just goes and whiffs this one. So, okay, tank form comes in again. Just, again, you got to kind of respect it. You just got to keep the barrier up against it. Sound barrier, quite nice. Oh, juicy shots coming in. Getting slow. They still haven't taken it. Notice they still haven't taken it. Almost got a third. Trying to finish things up. They have a Graviton Surge. This is the best chance they've got now. This is your victory condition. Don't fuck this up. Oh, the tire doesn't quite get over. Oh, almost. Couple of deaths, couple of kills. Now the question, is this. Look, does Stitch have... If Stitch grabs, do they have enough damage to even kill the things in the grab? And because, oh look, Z's back, well, the answer is no. This is why I make my bold statement of I really do not freaking like Goats on second point Horizon Luna Connolly. Like, it's just not quick enough. It just, like, to win with Goats on this point, in my mind, you need a grab combo. You need to get grab and just, like, a ton of kills all at once. And, like, they're talking about this now, and it's like, yeah, the grav is going to be the key, sure, but next fight they're going to have trance, and then they can just probably even just Valk. Like, you can see the Mercy's playing on this high ground, Diva's playing on this high ground. Where do you throw this grav? Where do you put this grav? This has always been the problem on Horizon. This is why, like, back in the day, Soldier 76 was so vital to winning this, and like McCree's can also kind of do this, where you just sort of put someone on the high ground that can actually hit targets no matter where they are. The question with the grav is, can you put the grav somewhere that's going to let you win this fight in a single move?
All right, here comes. He's trying to drop on the Bastion.
But Hoxell's dead, and now Popo, he's got a
Now everyone's dying. And oh, well, Shadow.
trying to pocket him up, but he still will die. But Bumper will full range.
Giant steps are what you take, walking on the moon. Like, what the frig happened there? Is that a concussive mine? There's no Lucio.
With the Shatter coming in, they find Repel.
Yeah, it's a concussive mine that launches him over. Reinhardt, man.
Why? It's
Moon gravity.
Bumper who makes a mistake. You know, who makes an ult usage mistake. We saw a few of those from Mystic earlier on. Guard was greedy with his Riptire on the A defense, for example, as well. But
And it's like,
really egregious
okay, well, let's try this grab again. I mean, they got the Valkyrie. That's okay, I guess.
should buy some more time here further. Here it comes.
Try to drop it straight down on top of him. Throws it in, finds Hoxell.
That's enough. Just cycle in ults. It's simple as. And my question is, like, this feels like Runaway at this point are pulling a London Spitfire, right? They are just running the same thing over and over and over and over. And I know Ryan, if he's out there, bless his soul, hates me asking this line, but it's insanity, right? It is just insanity. Because what are they hoping happens? Okay, you've moved from one choke, you're moving to the other choke. The Bastion's still on the opposite side. Like, they're still rotating away from you. You can see that. I think that's the Bastion there. Like, the Zen, oh no, that's the Zen just moving around here. Like, if you go this way, the Zen and everyone just goes this way. The Bastion probably sets up closer to the spawn door still, so you can pull the trick of hiding inside it. Junkrat staying on that high ground. Like, this angle, does this give you really that much of an advantage? Okay, you got two. There's the trance. Okay. Oh no. Oh god, that fade. Oh god, Winston, you're not doing anyone any favors there. Oh, they've almost got 2/3, but the Winston's now stalling on the point. They can't contest the Bastion again. DV gets launched at it. This should kill him. No. Oh, not a Poco Bomb. The Zarya is actually coming to life. This is a big deal. They've actually managed to push Z out for a little while. They almost have another Riptide, though, and there's a Valkyrie on the point, so they're going to have a really hard time finishing this one up still. There's the Riptire. Zarya's got no personal. Down she goes. And everyone regroups on the point, and they're just fine. Feels like they really want to get value from that grab. It's weird to see. I find it very strange to see, because grabs with Goats comp do not have that kind of value, right? They don't turn super easily into a pile of kills. They're almost more like a way of forcing the enemy team to use all of their resources, and then you kind of just outlast them by using all your support ults. Now then, Runaway have changed stuff up. The Ana has come out. Ana seems a lot more common in Korean contenders. It's mostly used to like leverage a Reinhardt's advantage, but Bumper's got rid of the Reinhardt. They got the Roadhog, perhaps just to deal with this goddamn Bastion, because if you hook him, well, then he's way more sort of vulnerable. You can see how defensively he's playing, like how carefully he's setting himself up and just keeping his distance. Like, he's not even going into tank form, because he knows that they're trying to set up for him. Like, the Ana as well is very effective against the Bastion. It makes it very difficult. Ana's even got an angle on him to try and, like, if he goes into turret form, he's got to get sleep darted. So he can't do anything. Anti-healed, slept, all that kind of stuff. Okay, Runaway dragging this fight long, again, using the support ultimate, cycling them through. This is looking a little bit better. Twilight, especially with a kill on Mercy. There's the grab. Now they have sort of the numbers to do this. There's no supports from the enemy team putting healing in. There's no Winston ultimate. Okay, now this is turning into some kills in overtime. And the enemy team has 6 minutes. And they have to take, I think, 1/3 here of first point. Yeah, this is like, let's stay on Goats forever. Don't like it. Don't like it. Yeah, so they have the one. They have 6 minutes to take 1/3. Okay.
You can expect
So watching a little bit more of the Korean contenders, I noticed this about Anna's in particular, right? Why would you run Anna when the enemy team, like with this much time, they're probably just going to run Goats on the first attempt anyway? Why not? They can always change up to something else. Why run the Anna? What does the Anna give you? And sort of, I've seen, you know, Anna being run before against Goats and in Goats, and one of the things that I really noticed when watching some of the footage with Korean contenders is that they use the Anna in a very clever way. They don't use the Anna. It's not so much about like getting anti-heal. It's not so much about like the healing throughput. It's actually about the nano boost and what the nano boost actually gives you. Because what you'll see is the nano boost tends to go on the Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt uses the nano to basically bully out, either kill the enemy Reinhardt, or just bully around him, set up for something like an Earth Shatter, and then use it and deploy that aggressively. It's a tool for the Reinhardt to get into a position that's advantageous for him, and basically win the Reinhardt duel straight up, and then use that to sort of continue pushing things forward. That's how things sort of go. Josh is still very sick. Josh is not feeling great. Spicy charges. Big old brawl.
they got exactly what they wanted. The stun to the charge, and they build an ult advantage. Now they can kite
So
back
yeah,
on point.
the objective of this is just to build your power spike earlier than the enemy team, right? Especially like Stitch is going to be getting some resources here, hopefully. Hopefully. Please, he's only 1% ahead. Making me look an idiot. Again, just playing so aggro. Oh, it's gone the other way this time. Oh dear. Oh, this has gone wrong. Oh, Long Johnson. Losing that Reinhardt's a really big deal, especially if you're playing with Diana. Because you don't have the Moira. They're going to have that Moira power spike literally right now, and they're just going to continue pressuring in. There they go. It's going to turn into a Graviton Surge. It's going to turn into probably a Brigitte Rally as well. And here... Oh, Nano Diva. That's always a bad sign. Bold, but effective. Can they convert it into kills? No, they cannot. The healing is too much. Remember what I was saying about Goats having no damage? Especially with an Anna pumping healing into it. Just not enough damage left over. Feels bad, man.
Well, they've got to do it for 4 more minutes. 4:45. So Mystic will reset here. Guard using the grab, unfortunately, doesn't result in a victory for them. So he's going to have a long time to build.
If you're that sick and aware of it, maybe you should get a canceller. It's a cold. That's what I have at the moment. Mentally, I'm okay at the moment. Mentally, I've actually not felt better in a while.
You know, where someone backdoors the point because they're so far away from it.
Oh, oh, bro, but.
Backdoors the point because they're so
Okay, so again, leveraging aggression, they can absolutely play the grab here if they really want to, but I imagine they just want to bully out the Reinhardts first, especially if they go for charges like that. Oh, Bumper, his eyes are probably the size of freaking saucers. Oh, no, he doesn't go for it. Oh, they just wait it out. Okay, they're going to do the grab. Oh, the anti-heal is beautiful. Where did he put that? That was sexy. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Just literally on the wall above, I believe. Or maybe from the side. Oh, so good. Why are they holding so close? Yeah, they want to keep this fight happening off the point. Like, it's goats on goats. It doesn't really matter where the fight happens for them. Oh! Oh! Oh no! It's the RKO out of nowhere! Oh, Jesus Christ. This is what you, like, teams should do this. Teams should absolutely do this. As risky as it is, like, I'm a believer in it. If it goes wrong, he charges, the Zarya picks him up, and they maybe use a sound barrier. If it works, you get another free hold, and you get basically, like, the Earth Shadow was like a win condition for their next fight. Right? So next fight, they probably want to use this regardless. They're probably aware, though, that they might have to use, like, a sound barrier, because the enemy team might have, like, you know, stuff like the Coalescence coming online, they have an Earth Shadow of their own. So taking a direct straight fight is going to be risky. So if you can win with an underhanded trick like this one...
What is he doing? He does it right now! Goodbye, good night, Element Mystic, not on this push!
Beautiful.
Kills 2 with the charge.
Check your corners. Check your corners.
Are they trying to pull off this miracle hold?
They may very well do it. That was the most efficient way to stop a whole push into
So yeah, the casters very correctly highlighted it's the most efficient way to do that. And if they keep playing with this level of efficiency, like Element Mystic are not hitting that same efficiency, and so they're losing. They're playing, like, this is what we saw on Oasis. It was Goats versus Goats, and Runaway seemed better at it. There's the charge, leverages the charge, turns it into an advantage, win in the Reinhardt battle, leverages that into further wins. Again, this seems to be how the Ana Nana boost gets used. Bumper already has another Earth Shatter. But there's still 3 minutes. Lel.
This is the moment, this is where the pendulum swings. And El Mystic has to act now. This is when they have their ult advantage. So many ults here. This is the fight they have.
This is the downside of dealing with 6 minutes of time, is that Element Mystic continue to just do nothing in these fights and continue building up a massive ultimate advantage. So you can see Runaway actually even looking way more cautious. That's a big shatter. Counter shatter just gets caught. Beautifully done. Doesn't catch the Reinhardt with a charge. Big old Goatsy brawl. I shouldn't say Goatsy. We had this discussion with Broadcast GG when someone said, like, you know, you want to say, like, you know, it's divey and stuff like that, but you can't say it is Goats like in that phrasing. Big ol' kills, beautiful by Bumper. Like, how did this fight turn? Where did this fight go so wrong for Element Mystic? D.Va bomb lands badly, though you don't get the Reinhardt charge properly. And they even get the grab out, but one death, yeah, kill comes through it. No, oh, sorry, yeah, that's Stitch's grab, sorry. Yeah, so the counter grab just wins it out. There's just not enough, like, focus, there's not enough damage being done. The grab sort of denies them the ability to focus fire on these targets. They continue surviving longer, and as a result, they continue holding.
I cannot believe they were able to pull this hold up after the shatter, after the block. The grab comes through. He's nearly got another one. He's at 80%. Perfect. Sound barrier from Slime.
I love this caster already. I love it already.
Alive, runaway. I think they may just be able to do this.
Like, this is the most, like, Dragon Ball Z thing. Like, you know, it's like, oh my god, Cell's just taken that entire blow. Can you sense his power level? Oh, he's still on like 100% power. It's like, Bumper's still on 80%. Oh my god, Goku.
They still hold this. There's 2 minutes remaining. I cannot believe they were able to pull this hold up after the shatter, after the block. The grab comes
Like, it's this. I'm gonna turn it up so everyone can hear.
through. He's nearly got another one. He's at 80%. Perfect.
Oh, that's so good.
From Slime there in that fight kept everybody alive. Runaway, I think they may just be able to do this. And like I was saying before, Element Mystic, that was their chance. That's when they had all of their ultimates. Now Runaway has the ult advantage again. Bumper's got the shatter.
Okay.
And they've got the positional advantage. Doc goes on the high ground.
He needs this to be massive. If he can't lock them down.
Okay, got
Ooh.
the high ground.
Reinhardt.jpg. It's like, it just appears around the corner. This could be a position thing. Or it just gets through. They convert it into kill. Bumper dying is a big freaking deal. Oh no. Yep, that's done. This is the issue. Like, it still took him a good 5 freaking minutes to do it, but holy shit. Just one moment of poor positioning where the Reinhardt just sort of almost just crams past him. Like, what the frig happens here?
Okay, got Bumper. He locks him in. That's gonna be Bumper dead on it. An 0-3 loss. They take down Runaway on Horizon, but my God, did they have to work for it?
Okay. So it's 3-1. No, sorry, it's 2-1 in the series. Best of 5. Final map. Route 66. A map where Goats, thankfully, is not the order of the day, where Goats isn't played in every and any situation. We're actually going to see some differences. Which is good. Which is good, which is what we want. We want to see differences. I don't want to just see Goats all day. New Winston skin revealed? Oh baby, let's get a live reaction from Sick One Amongst Many on the new Winston skin. Does it look as bad as the Horizon one? The sort of the terrible one. But play Overwatch, I'm sure. Let's see, what have we got? Okay. Whoop. Whoop. Start your opponents out with Catch Your Winston. That's a really unfortunate name. That's a no. Am I the only one who thinks that's an inappropriate name? Anyway. Yeah. I like the sunglasses. Again, why is it all American sports balls? Who gives a shit about... I like the sunglasses. The sunglasses are really freaking nice. But... like, baseball Winston? I'm not sold. I don't see it. The shades are really cool. Like that looks really awesome, but it's like the American football Reinhardt. I saw a ton of Americans, particularly, like going, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" And like every European was just like, "Eh, eh." Ugh, sniffly. Sorry. So yeah, Runaway going to be running the Ana. So are going to be running goats with the Ana. Meanwhile, Element Mystic running that oh so familiar double sniper mono support comp. So you're going to see it again, like just to reiterate, the Ana is primarily used to sort of act as an enabler for the Reinhardt, and with the Reinhardt's as good as Bumper seems to be, this works. This really works. So taking just a long slow fight, they just want to force the enemy to try contesting them, build up some ults, build up some charge. It's all good. Just take it slow. That's where Goats sort of has a big advantage. The only downside is, yeah, the Widow is eventually probably going to do something, especially if you don't have like the D.Va peeling to go and deal with the Widow. This Widow's basically operating in a shooting gallery, and so she's going to get a few kills. Basketball Farah, wouldn't be surprised yet.
Okay, Runaway is halted here now. Looking for a bit more. Barrier's about to go down for Bumper. They're going to have to back off. They're going to get.
But being honest, again, Runaway are just trying to build ults here. It's what I'd say more than anything. Oh yeah, they did not have an answer for C there. So that tells me the fact that no one went to deal with him, that Runaway are kind of fine with being sniped at by the Widow. Like that must be part of the idea, that they are playing with this idea to get this nano boost up and running, get the rally up and running, and then sort of be unkillable. So there's a couple of interesting things for the Reinhardt here that they're going to do on this push. So Dragon sort of just comes in, splits the team. But the big thing here is that the Reinhardt, to get to high ground, I believe you can actually potentially jump from the payload to get to high ground. Like it is doable. Payload might have to be a little bit closer, but you can just sort of muscle your way up there. But instead of doing that, he's just going to go all the way around. You can see, even it looks like he's going for a charge there. Gets nanoed because the hook comes in, so the nano's there to save him. Anti-heal goes in, and you can see that he's just running around. And like everyone's just going, oh shit. Because he just runs in and earth shatters them. And it's just like, you know, he still has the nano boost on, and he gets away with this because of this nano, right? They can't kill him, they can't stop him, and it's also a bit of a whiff with like the halt, because you need to use the halt or something to get rid of him when he's trying to do this. You need to do something with this barrier. It's just like a perfect storm happens that lets Bumper get him from behind. Now there's no barrier because I think the barrier just gets reset moments before. Yeah, barrier gets reset, so that's on cooldown. Doesn't seem to have halt, or halt just doesn't catch him. Gets in. Earth Shatters drops everyone. It's huge. Because now, well, everybody's dead. This Widowmaker is not going to kill a Goats team all on its own in time. Big old trade, but again, yeah, the casters say cool, worth it. I heartily agree. You just leave a Widowmaker on their own, fighting against like 4 people. You're going to keep on pushing. Your reinforcements come in faster. It's pretty good.
If he was halted off the side or pushed off by anything, then that ultimate ends up being wasted. But very well,
freaking love the Rein skin. I think Reinhardt has better skins already, though. Okay, so D.Va Bomb goes up and down, just to buy a little bit of space. Big kill onto Stitch with the D.Va Bomb, actually. How did that one land? Looks like Daka just throws it over. Ugh, sorry. Like he just lobs it. Just lobs it right into the air. Gets Stitch. That's actually a really big kill because, again, you really want those ults. Luckily, Bumper seems to be a freaking golden god of the Reinhardt. Holy shit, get this lad in Overwatch League. Oh my god, it's dirty.
Tosses that one down. I don't know how many people he caught, but he killed Jexay with it, and then follows up with another one onto Repel. Looking for the break onto the mech.
What a god. What a god.
They buy a little bit of extra.
This is a really good sign for Runaway. Like, if you're playing Goats and your Reinhardt is top tier, that's great. I like that they just wait with the D.Va as well while the door's open. She's not actually stalling at that point, so might as well just sort of drag out the kills. And they can do it again with the Nano Boost. They just can use the Nano Boost, get that Reinhardt in there, and kill people.
They do that. They get the point here. They have an ult advantage as well.
I wouldn't mind seeing like this, you know, get rid of this Widow for like a Pharah or something. Just something else. They just that was terrible position out of Z. What happened there? He drops down, fires off a shot, and just grapples way too late. Lel, dead. Nano Boost, Bumper just runs in again. And like they're trying to kill this Ana, but honestly, if they kill this Ana now, like because this is a triple support comp, losing the Ana is not the biggest deal in the world like it normally is. And they even have the Brigitte there just protecting. So Bumper's just gonna kill everybody by the time you even kill this Ana. This Widow feels completely irrelevant at this point. Want Ryan in One Piece 1940 style swimsuit, swinging a wooden mallet. Go pop pride with him. Is that too much? No. Like, I definitely think if like you give him like, you know, like a tank top or something as well. The biggest issue I'd see with that is the hitbox. So if you look at Reinhardt, let's get a nice picture of Ryan. There we go. So if you look at Reinhardt, like he has these massive shoulder pads as like part of his design, like the huge gauntlets that aren't, you know, he's a big dude, don't get me wrong, but he's not actually like this size himself if you strip him out of his armor. So when you get a skin where he's not wearing armor, you have this problem because these are part of his hitbox, right? You can hit these and do damage to him. And you can't just make his shoulders like 3 times the size because he look like a freakish abomination. Unless you're making a freakish abomination skin for him. So you got to be sort of aware that the suit of armor adds like a big layer to Reinhardt. Maybe you just give him like a really big towel or something, I don't know. And they can just play the grab for this fight. Like the enemies only just swapped to this Zen. There's the very late swaps coming to the Junkrat and to the Hanzo. Only just swapped to Zen, so you just win this fight off a grab. It's not hard. There it is. Even gets the mercy. Clinical. Clinical. So Lucio getting a football skin. Lucio got the ice hockey skin, but that was one of his default original skins. Because like the thing that I heard with Lucio was like Lucio originally was meant to actually be Canadian, like a Canadian guy, but then they realized that they sort of wanted to sort of go further afield around the world, so they changed it to a Brazilian guy. But that's why he had like the skates and the hockey theme, because it's like, oh well, if he's Canadian, you know, a Canadian on skates makes more thematic sense than a Brazilian on skates, like special ice skate looking skates, I suppose. Big ol' Shatter. Again, just personal barrier, right? This is why Zarya cooldowns are so important. And this is also like swapping goats here just feels so desperate to me. Like, you know they have all the advantages. So yeah, just gets the opportunity. Did it a stun combo? Actually looks like it might even be earlier than the stun combo. Nope. Alpha just goes for a charge. Why? Did the bubble miss him? Yeah, no, the bubble didn't miss him. He just goes for a charge for no reason. Just gets caught. Just getting outplayed non-stop by this Ryan. Oh my god. The Outbook says he was developed around the idea of a D&D bard. He was always Brazilian once he started talking about lore. Okay.
They can use the nano to make sure that Bumper gets another shatter. They're probably going to nano him, and then he's going to stand in front of the spawn to try to get that shatter, pretty much. That's the plan.
Charge in, they find Alpha.
Again,
That's
Nano
gonna
onto
be
the
the man
Reinhardt.
going in.
Same thing each
Self-destruct
time.
finds
Bumper's on
two.
81% again. This
Charge
man
in,
just
they
does
find
not
Alpha.
stop having Earth Shatters. What the Christ?
Self-destruct finds two.
I can already tell you the thumbnail, like when this goes on YouTube, is going to be a picture of Torbjorn, probably, doing a stupid face. Torbjorn does tons of those, but it should be of Reinhardt. Bumper is insane. And like this is not just Bumper, this is his team doing this. Like his team is basically, they're playing like Bumper is the carry. Like Bumper is the big dick carry, right? Like with Overwatch League teams, you see like Carpe or Pine or Sabiobi or Birdring or Prophet, all these sexy DPS players. It's rarely the tank.
The way the Orisa was played there by Alpha plays towards the meta.
But good lord.
Towards what everyone is used to doing with the Orisa, but it didn't play towards against
Okay. So, long ago, on Route 66, before Hanzo was even meta, teams used to run Hanzo on the first point, just to leave the spawn door and fire a sonic arrow at this train to scout the train and see what's going on. And so guard starts, as you do, on the Hanzo, and this is where your butthole goes from normal to super tight, can crush coal into diamonds because he doesn't fire this fucking sonic arrow. Just put it in there, come on, there we go. And now they see it. And this is really bad, because you've just been rumbled. And yeah. So now on first point, you are not fighting on Big Earls anymore.
No, it does not. XC finds two. That's going to be a lot of space bought here for this card. They obviously
Like,
can still
it's
contest
just
this
impossible.
before.
You are not retaking that. Element Mystic, you're going to set up, take control of the high ground. You are now going to be fighting for the end of first. That's not good.
But I mean, hey, if it works out, you've really.
Arrow is predicting that the gap in top teams and lower teams in Season 2 will be the main
They
tank.
already have a decent timing for completion, so.
It's like,
Sonic area here for Guard.
that's a bold prediction, is what I would say. It's not an unfair one, but Season 2 is like 7 months away, or like 6-7 months away. The meta could literally be anything. It could be Symmetra, Sombra, no tank lineup, whatever. Who the frig knows? I definitely say it's a deciding factor. It just comes down to where the meta lands.
Twice the approach angle. Bumper. Again,
Rejoins.
there's the hold off the side. That's the kind
So,
of halting
yeah.
we needed to see.
Like the cast is even highlighted. Like Bumper needs to be controlled a lot more, and it finally seems to be signs of that happening. Maybe way too late, but Alpha finally gets a nice little halt, pulls everybody off this high ground, exposes one of the weaknesses of Goats, of course, that you don't have that high ground mobility. So yeah, 4-1-1 dive meta, calling it. It again could be anything. There's reworks. It could be Torbjorn. There's a rework for Torb coming. Could be Hammond Torb. We don't know. We just don't know. I mean, a lot of it came down to like stage 3 it was like Tracer players, stage 4 it was Widow players. It's like
All Mystic have the, again, this Roadhog composition, but it's not getting picks. Bumpers
there was a period of time where Widowmaker was just not played for a long time.
This Dragon Strike is interesting. I wonder how they're going to use
Could be
it.
Doomfist players. Who knows? Gypsy could be the best player in the world. Kappa.
I wonder if the Hulk is coming from this Roadhog combo.
Right.
It's not getting picks. Bumpers barriers are too good, even with the Hulks coming through.
Again, this Widow.
This Dragon Strike is interesting. I wonder how they're going to use it because it's a pretty open space.
So yeah, they just use the Dragon Strike to cover the approach. They might even throw a bomb at this. Nano Boost just goes out straight away. Heal Grenade goes in. No one in huge danger of falling except for Slime. They don't have res. This is where they want to leverage that Reinhardt advantage. He's just going to be waiting. Again, just, pulling back as well. Like, it's actually really good that Runaway managed to reclaim this position. This is pretty crazy.
Runaway just getting a bit overzealous there on
Diva
that
bouncing
fight.
off the roof there makes a shot impossible for Widow.
Thought that
Lel.
Bumper was essentially invulnerable, but eventually even he
Looks like Bumper's
had
just
to
going to back away.
Runaway took a lot of gambles actually. Instead of trying to control the high ground there, they wanted to push Wild Mystic further back and start to kind of
Type.
was really the ultimate goal of Runaway.
Have time for a retake. They have Grav. The enemy team doesn't have a way of stopping it.
They failed.
Grav and
Wild
Shadow
Mystic's
as well.
another push.
So they use Rally on the engage. Oh god, he just bypassed. Oh my. I hate Reinhardt. Just come on, let him have this. Like, look at how good this is, and just Nope.
War.
And it's like you can see you can freaking see it. Oh my god. That's so tilting. Just go to 0.75.
Rushing forward, bumper here. Looking for the
Look at the yellow wave. Watch the yellow wave come out. Look at it. Nope. Mercy gives no hex. She's floating. She's off the ground. That's good enough. Oh, that hurts. That really hurts.
Bit of a waste on that one, but they're
It's...
still looking for the fights. Sitch tosses out the- he skirts
Oh, I know.
the
Okay, I see why he tossed the grab there. Because that's where the Mercy went. So the Mercy's over there. So they want to get the Mercy for some reason. The Mercy and the Widow, I guess.
He skirts his way out of there. Bit of a waste on that one.
It's an interesting grab. Does end up scooping up the Diva eventually, but not perhaps as decisive. The caster's term for this one is he didn't quite find what he was looking for. Which that's the phrase that casters use when they want to be diplomatic when someone fucks up. He didn't get what he was looking for with that one. It's like, no shit. What a meaningless phrase. It's called Earthshatter, not Shockwave. Well, it should be called Stun Shockwave. Or Reinhardt should shout it out, like Doomfist. Because Jesus.
But, I mean, Runaway's not overstepping their bounds. They know they don't have ults anymore, so they're not going to do that spawn camping like I was talking about. They can't anymore. They don't have the tank ultimates. They're going to control the high ground. They're going to play it safer.
See getting booped off.
Here's the whole hog.
I just...
Sleep him. Hell, not gonna be able to
I have to ask the question, like, if anyone in chat is more familiar with Korean Overwatch than I am, which is maybe some of you, or in the comments on the YouTube video, how the hell did Element Mystic get to the semi-finals without a Pharah player? How did they do this?
fully channel that one out.
Because
By Janu looking for a pick. It's just a supercharger as Bumper goes down.
it seems mind-blowing to me.
Dying before he can use that sound barrier. Maybe Element missing.
This Widow has been so quiet through all of this series. Finally starts getting some kills, but the fight's already over anyway. Mine's 75%. I changed speeds too much, though. Carefully, yeah. It's... Whew. Like, forced out his trance means fucked up. It doesn't always mean fucked up. Forced out the trance is... Sometimes it is the enemy team doing well. Like, a dead Zenyatta cannot trance, so you have to. Nice quick re-engage. Love it. Love it. Can't find a target though. Element Mystic, hey look, you got an agile comp. They're playing it in an agile way. Imagine if they had a Pharah instead. The Mercy is like 100% safe at all times. And yet they still lose this fight somehow because this team comp does not do enough damage to goats. I'm going to watch the health bars during all of this fight. I'm not going to look at the screen. I'm just looking at Runaway's health bars, okay? Oh, some damage onto Slime. He's fine. There's no damage. Janu's taking a touch of damage. Janu's getting hurt. Oh, no, he's fine. He's killed the Widow. Where's the damage? Oh, we got some changes. We've got a Moira coming out. There's the Brigitte. Okay, hey, now we can like stun someone up and maybe blow them away. Like, okay. Element Mystic are now running goats into goats again. Every single time they tried to do this, Runaway have just floored them. Like, it took them about 3,000 fucking attempts to do this on Horizon Lunar Colony. This is not a good look for Element Mystic. Oh, that anti-heal is filthy. Oh, that's just dirty. Like, I think at this point, Runaway know that they've already won. Because they have just been playing goats so much more efficiently, so much more clean. Their Reinhardt is just way more threatening. I mean, Alpha has been okay, but hasn't been, you know, he's been unmentioned pretty much, which is okay for a main tank, but compared to Bumper, it's like, well, you ain't going bumper to bumper with him, you know? Would Reaper and or Junkrat into goats be viable? No. So, Junkrat, yes. Okay, the Junkrat is sort of one of the ways you beat it. And you use the Junkrat, like you can use Junkrat on this map, for example, put him on top of the rooftop and just spam grenades down, build up a Riptire, send the Riptire in, kill some people nice and quickly. Okay, that's the way you beat goats is by burst damage. This usually means one shot. Okay, this is why Reaper doesn't work super well. You need one shot to kind of do it because you have tank cooldowns to keep people alive, you have healer cooldowns to keep people alive. You cannot kill things in goats just by using normal damage. This is why Reaper doesn't work into goats, if you ask me. Because sure, the Reaper can do a lot of damage to the tanks, but the tanks will just block for each other. So Zarya put a bubble on someone, okay, Reaper can't do damage into that. Diva defense matrices, okay, can't do damage into that. And then you start getting damage through, oh, there's a Brigitte health pack, Rally comes online, Coalescence comes online, Reaper has to retreat, run away, can't do much. Death Blossoms, nobody gives a shit because nobody dies to it. Like, Reaper doesn't do enough damage to this. He just gets sort of run over by goats. Reaper is very good when the enemy team has, like, an over-aggressive Winston or like, is just running 2 tanks. When they start running 3 tanks and 3 supports, that's just too much almost to blow up quickly. It's too much tankiness for even the tank buster to break, basically. The reason why Hanzo kind of works against goats is because you can play Hanzo very easy from like a medium to long range, play him on the high ground, he'll build Dragon Strikes up nice and quickly, can do enough burst damage to kill tanks pretty efficiently. It's all pretty good for him. So, oh, they almost whiffed that combo. They actually got it. So Alpha sets of the combo, Brigitte combo lands. See what I mean by burst damage? Shadow Diva Bomb? Like, big burst hits. Big old burst hits. So whenever someone asks, they know, oh, Reaper is technically a tank buster. Should Reaper be good against goats? The answer, every time I've seen it run, he just sort of comes out, does some damage, but just gets shut down and doesn't do anything. As a reality. What about Bastion Mei? Bastion's much harder. The reason why Bastion worked on the previous map on Horizon was because the Bastion basically hid in the spawn. That's sort of a unique feature of the old Horizon Lunar Colony. Mei is just too slow. Goats will burn through the Mei cooldowns. Mei is very good, which is what Prophet did in the finals. If you are stalling on second point and you bring a Mei out against goats, they will not be able to kill the Mei very quickly. So you can use the Mei to basically stall on second or stall out a point extremely well. But the Mei will eventually just get outlast and killed. You don't get a burst potential.
Final hold attempt coming through as we get ready to enter into overtime.
Bumper taking a lot of damage. He's charged.
Oh, Graf gets everybody. The anti-heal grenades have been goddamn beautiful from Twilight.
Bumper taking a lot of damage. He's charged.
Pinned into the wall, but he's not going down yet. They're still trying to burn away at him. The armor pack comes through to keep him up. Alpha finds the kill on the slide.
That should be that.
Also going to be dying now. Twilight under fire.
Just sort of out-ulted.
Gets the grab available, but that's still going to be the push coming in for Element
Like the first push out of Element Mystic where they ran this, or rather the push that they won on with this, like it was off the back of just a pretty simple combo. No, I think Runaway just almost gave them. Oh, excuse me. You gotta respect the Reinhardt combos. Okay, Runaway gonna be looking to do similar. Engaging hard, speed boost and rally going in. Grab pulls everybody in. Oh, ooh, what? I think they just got very lucky there. You can see, like, this is the Diva Bomb. Oh wait, no, is that their Diva Bomb? That's Daiko's Diva Bomb. Okay. Yeah, that's Daiko's Diva Bomb. Okay, I was like, this bomb should have killed more people. I thought like the Zarya bubble might have caught the back of it, maybe, but there's the other Diva Bomb. This is still iffy for Element Mystic, but not the end of the world. Bumper might go for another flanking Shadow here. Wouldn't mind seeing him do it, but Element Mystic are going to this next fight with like all support ultimates. Runaway needs to just slow this fight down as much as possible, right? Like, I think Element Mystic should win this fight almost as a no-brainer, but if Runaway can just slow it down, make the fight go ages, that's a really good thing. Like, build up some ults. So there's Sound Barrier, another grab. D.Va stalls on the point. Like, this is better than it looks, because Element Mystic have used 3 support ults and a Graviton Surge to get this, and they still have to finish the map. Runaway are now leaving spawn with several support ults, Graviton Surge coming online, and even a D.Va Bomb as well. They are primed for victory here. Just to kill all excitement for it. Alpha needs to get the Shadow of the Century, basically. It's a pretty good one. Actually, no, it doesn't get... Looks like Haskell gets his shield up just in time. So there's a sound barrier. The engage is just as brutal as you would expect. That's a big kill. The grab's down, but I don't think they're going to be able to kill things fast enough on point now to actually stop the Zarya just respawning. And there we go. Beautiful. Runaway make it to the grand finals on the back of that one. Yeah, like I think the thing that Runaway does very well, more than any other team, is they just control space. Like they control tempo and space really well. They manage the ultimate cycles super well. They're really good at just sort of doing all of that kind of stuff. So like this, let's get the Tor playing in the background. Yeah, this is fine. We can continue from here. Yeah, they do a good job of, like, they play to their pace, and they make the enemy play to their pace. So sometimes they will go with, like, they'll start a fight with a plan very clearly, and it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do this fight? Okay, well, we're going to get Bumper into their team, nano boosted with the Reinhardt, and kill everybody. Okay, what's the plan with this fight? Well, we play it slow, and we just grind them down using the Torbjorn's DPS, and we just sort of slowly kill them off until we either get a barrage, or we just grind down the enemy team, and we just zone out this Widowmaker as much as possible as well. Like, this fight here, I think, is a great example of it, where they're just, like, it feels like Runaway just, like, all got their feet up, they're sitting back, they've got, like, margaritas they're sipping. Janu's just going to go and make sure that the Widowmaker's busy. They're all just playing on the high ground, taking it slow, taking it easy, letting that Torbjorn damage tick up slowly. Molten Core goes off. Okay, well, we've got these ultimates happening. The barrage is a bit of a whiff, but honestly, as long as that turret's still alive, as long as the Torbjorn's still pushing pressure out and still the turret's hitting things and dealing damage, that's going to grind people down slowly but surely, because the turret's doing that consistent, non-stop damage to people. So like, the Trace is going to be kind of useless here. You can see they're getting chased off the point. You can see that the slowly Bumper's just like holding this corner. It's playing to their tempo. It's playing to their spacing. And that is what Runaway do so very well in this series. They just completely control the tempo. I also think that Element Mystic not having a Pharah player is bizarre to me, and it feels like XZI. I don't know. I'm gonna be awkward and British and call him XZI. It's like when you see like you know, like, what's this player's name, right? It's you know, it's people Americans say, oh, it's AZK. No, it's AZK. Lel. Just to be awkward. So it's like when you call, instead of Dragon Ball Z, it's Dragon Ball Z. Good old Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, it feels like Runaway with just the stronger team. Right, that will finish things up on this review. You guys want to do another? I kind of want to do another. Let's do another one. So thank you for watching on this one anyway. The YouTube VOD will be done for this one. There'll be another one uploaded afterwards, I imagine, as well. So definitely go and check that out. We're going to go look at Commodore Panthera versus Metabellum. I watched some of this series. I didn't watch all of it, so I'm kind of curious to catch up with the full thing. Alright, more. Bring me another. Damn straight. Let's do another. I'm doing another.